Hello, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. Before we get started, I'd like to do an audio check to make sure that you can hear me, and a visual check to make sure that you can see the CartoPac title page. If you would please select the raise your hand icon under the attendees list so that I can see that we have no issues. I see one hand. Are there any other people that can hear and see? Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, I apologize for that audio delay. A couple of housekeeping items before we start. We will be having a question and answer session at the end, but please feel free to submit your questions at any time during the webinar, and our webinar will be recorded today and available on our website. So we want to welcome you to the CartoPac Core for Municipalities with Dell, and I'd like to introduce our presenters for today. We have Glenn Wath, the General Manager at CartoPac, myself, Teresa Chavez, Sales Development Resource at CartoPac, and Ryan Johnson, Client Solutions Account Executive with Dell. Now, before we begin the demo of our software solution on the Dell Rugged tablet, I would like to take a moment to share who we are. So CartoPac has been in business for over 17 years, and we are based in the beautiful city of Fort Collins, Colorado. CartoPac provides both an out-of-the-box and custom configurable GPS-enabled software solution for asset inventory and inspections. Well, that was a mouthful, but that's just how complete the solution we provide. A key advantage is that CartoPac software has the ability to integrate with your existing corporate systems. Also, both geo and non-geospatial databases and external devices to provide high accuracy data collection. Most importantly, we're not just providing the complete platform as a solution, but the professional services to implement, support, and even train you to manage and build out your own solutions if you choose. Now, along with partnering with Dell, you'll see that we partner with Trimble, Intel, Microsoft, and Esri. Now, when CartoPac started, we were building solutions for the oil and gas industry. Since then, we have expanded our focus within the electric and gas utilities and municipal markets. Now, an example of how highly configurable and versatile our solution is we've built solutions for natural resources for mapping mountain lions and the ruins at Mesa Verde. Our client base we have over 1,000 users and hundreds of deployments, not just in North America, but in international as well. So what value can you expect in deploying the CartoPac solution? Well, customers such as Tallgrass report an increase of efficiency of up to 90% and a decrease in cost of operations down 50%. So we've been talking with the cities and counties, and we're listening to you, and here is some of the challenges that you have told us that you're facing today. So it's taking too much time for you to enter in data. Missing information means having to send field people back out to the site to recollect data. You need to be able to have a solution that can integrate with your current existing systems. And you need that scalability to be able to configure and support the solution without having to be a programmer. Your need for a mobile device has to withstand the outdoor conditions that your field inspectors experience. They need to have the ability to connect and use external devices to improve the accuracy of their data collection. And you need to be able to handle processing large amounts of data. All in all, the funding challenges mean that you need a simplified, turnkey solution. So with a reduced staff and having to do more, everyone is looking for that low-cost solution that doesn't compromise their values of safety, quality, and accuracy. So what value can CartoPac provide for your city? Well, we can save you the time and money in a rapid software implementation. You have the long-term benefits of knowing the location and condition of your assets. And this is the value of not only keeping your field inspector safe, but the public safe. With our open architecture, you have the ability to integrate with your current systems and applications. Most importantly, our solution is so highly configurable, efficient, and scalable that our solution can grow as the city and county grows and the business needs and requirements change. Most importantly, we are an extension of your team. We help provide the systems integration, project management, systems design, analysis, and training. I'm now going to turn it over to Glenn, where he will share the municipal solution.
Great, Teresa, thank you. So as she was sharing and looking at paying attention to what municipalities and other utilities are sharing with us of what they require, is that the software suite needs to be rapidly available. Oftentimes projects get started and we need to get field people out collecting data within a matter of days. We also hear that you need to interact with your own data and you need to be able to have that data go up to the system, but also be able to get that data out of the systems so you can use it with existing applications. In looking at that time to get people out in the field, we can leverage off of existing solutions that support industry standards, that support best practices, that are proven workflows, but we can also modify those templates or even build a custom solution to meet your requirements. One of the key things that we hear time and time again is that people need a complete solution. They don't want just a software application or they don't want just a hardware, and they want to say, I need a complete solution that is fully supported, that it's going to go out in the field and it's going to maximize the productivity of our field users. In looking at that, that's really where the partnership with Dell and being able to provide both a software, hardware, and supporting services really provides a very unique value that no other organization can provide. We also do this at a very competitive pricing with a very high value. We've priced this with various models, and we'll cover that later in the presentation, but really for features available, there is no other software technology and hardware platform that can provide the features that CartoPac and Dell do and to deliver the value and the results that we have shown that we're capable of doing time and time again. So CartoPac Core is our software as a service offering, and it really is set up to be something that is very quick to set up, quick to configure, and quick to deploy. At the center of this is we leverage the Esri ArcGIS for Server platform, so we're able to visualize the data, interact with your data, and provide standards within that Esri platform. We can also support being able to go out to applications within Esri like Operations Dashboard and some of the other applications so that you can leverage your investment in Esri. We set up a Microsoft Azure instance. We install all the CartoPac server and workflow manager components. We configure the solution to meet specific requirements. You're able to upload your data to the server and you're able also to get data out of that server. We support it on a range of devices, including the Trimble, which that can be paired with a Dell Rugged and be able to deliver a sub-meter or sub-foot GPS accuracy solution for those customers that want that. We can also, for maintenance inspection applications, leverage the onboard GPS within the Dell Rugged tablet. All this combines of being able to have a very feature-rich, readily available solution that can be really spun up in a matter of hours for you to be able to take advantage of.
Okay, now we're going to go ahead and begin the demo of our solution.
All right, so I'm demoing this actually on the Dell Rugged 12. I'm going to log into a CartoPac core server, and I have different users that have different permissions and different functions. I'm going to start out as a field user. I'm going to go ahead and log into the application. And what you see here is that I'm logged into an Esri ArcGIS for server. I'm going to select my area of extent here and zoom into an area of interest of where I'm going to be going and collecting data. And we can see here on the side within the map legend that in here I have my hydrants, I have my sewer manholes, I have my water mains, and my sewer gravity mains. And those are the assets here within this solution. This is an example, but we're not limited to this. We do applications for signs, urban trees, pipelines, electric utilities, gas utilities. This is really just an example to show how we can interact with different types of asset data. Once I've determined the area of interest of where I want to work, I simply click download. Takes everything that I need, packages that up, and sends it to the Dell Rugged tablet. What's nice about this is we're managing a lot of the complexities behind the scenes. All the components are managed from the server, and everybody is using the same application out in the field. Going to ask me to go ahead and start out the mobile application. And what you see here is I have a subset of that GIS information, and there I have the football field. If I toggle back to my server, you can see now I have very much a duplicate of that GIS environment out in the field ready for me to use. So two of the primary workflows we support would be an asset inventory and an asset inspection. So in this example, I'm going to do an inventory, and I'm going to do water hydrants. So I click on the plus button, I select the asset that I'm going to be collecting and click on create. I'm going to stick this out in this football field so we can clearly see it, and it's going to ask for information about that asset that really are defined by your organization, your data of how you want to collect and manage this information. So I'm going to pick here is I'm going to say I'm going to put in my asset ID, enter that, my inspector name. We're going to have Teresa be busy today. We have these basically all drop downs and really forced on the rules. We know that if it's a date field, we can pick that. We can know we can look at legacy data that was out there. We know that it's managed by our agency and it's owned by our agency. And if I wanted to, I can also do a condition assessment within the same application. I don't have to have a separate workflow or a separate application to do inventory and then maintenance. So I'm going to go ahead and do an inspection on this. We're going to say our condition on this asset is good. We're going to do the lubrication. Turns to operate, we know it's a numeric, it's 4. And let's just say the flow is 10 gallons per minute. Click on OK here, and let's say we're going to add a photo about that. So I'm not going to go out in the field, but let's say that we've got here, we have our buried hydrant. Tells me I have to give it a name, so I'm just going to call it Snow. And I've collected that information. I've done an inspection on that hydrant. Well, let's say, and you can see now that hydrant is highlighted there in the center of the field, and that's the asset that we've just collected. Let's say that I get a maintenance call here, and so I'm going to do a find here, and I need to go to asset ID 110. All right, we were notified that we lost audio here. Don't know what's going on within that. Apologize for the delays. I'm going to pick up here where I left off, or guess here, is that I was showing an asset maintenance workflow where I had searched for an asset ID, been able to navigate to that location, and now I'm able to see the legacy data that was there, the previous score of the asset and the condition, and I can now go into an inspection, and I'm going to add an inspection. This inspection for manholes is really based on industry standards, and there's a lot of information that has to be collected. It's really going to take a robust mobile solution to be able to do this, as well as a set of really some intelligence built into the forms to be able to walk a field user effectively through this. In this standard, there's well over 100 attributes that are required to effectively do an inspection on the manhole. Let's put Teresa back. Well, no, we're going to put Teresa back to work again. We're going to get our barrel diameter, list of buildups here. You can see that I have checkbox controls now of what I'm seeing. If I know what the barrel material is, it's brick. Looking at other things here, and let's say that, you know, things are not all good here. And so let's say our chimney condition is poor, our barrel condition is very poor, and looking at this, and really this manhole is not good. So I'm going to look at being able to say, let's add some photos of this and add, and it's not going to let me go forward until I collect that required information. So I click OK, and it brings up the depth. Let's say it's 48 inches. I think I've got everything I need. Let's go into Photo, Add, click on File, and let's say here's what's going on within the blockage, within the manhole. I know this is pretty exciting stuff. So I've collected that. I've gone through the inspection, and I've really been able to do both inspection and maintenance within the Dell Rugged and the Windows 8.1 and Windows 10 UI. This was funded in part by Microsoft, Intel, Dell, and CartoPac. And what you see is it has all the information needed. Navigation is adjusted to the side. I have different layers of the application that can be easily accessed, and I can see controls on top. But I'm going to say that I'm done with my field activity. I'm going to save that information and get out of the tablet. So now I come back and I want to basically send that information back to the server. So once I have connection to the internet, I log back into the CartoPac core server. I press upload. It asks me what device I'm working with, what project I had. And all the deltas and the new information I collected has now been brought up from the mobile device and now is reflected on the server. I'm going to go ahead and finish that. I'm going to refresh my map. And you can see in the center of the football field where I collected that hydrant, it's there. And just off to the left of that, I'm going to zoom in. Here's our asset, and it now is indicated by a color score of red, which means it has a score of less than 20. And it's been brought back up into the system. We've done some analytics on the score. We've reassigned that score, and now it's changed for the symbology. Let's say as a workflow here, I'm logging in, and I want to say as a field user, I'm done, and I want to submit this data. So I've got my manhole inspection here. And what I'm doing is I'm logging into what we call CartoPac Workflow Manager. And it allows us to have a structured process of all of this data coming back from the field, back into the organization, and provides both an audit trail and notifications and processing to be able to bring data back in a structured way, making this data very actionable and making this data have very high value and making it very usable from within an organization. I'm going to go ahead and mark this data complete, submit that, and it's ready. I'm done from a field user, and I said that I've collected my data, I've reviewed it, and I'm going to pass it on to my supervisor. So now I'm going to log out of the application. I'm going to come back in as a supervisor. I'm going to go to my area of interest, so I'm going to go to the town of Naperville, looking at this data, and I see that I've got that red manhole out there and adjacent to the field, and I'm going to go to Workflow Manager, and I'm going to see what's in this system for me. So I see very top here, Supervisor Review. It's got this. I'm going to say, well, what's going on there? So I have the details. I can look through what's going on here with the data. I see that things are very, very poor score. Well, I want to look at this, and I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say, I want to look at that photo that's associated with this. And I can see the photo, and it's like, I need to go look at that actual manhole itself and not just the inspection. So I'm going to close this out. And I look at the manhole here, and I can say I can look at a report. And now it sees, here's the inspection. You can see that the condition is poor. All the other components are poor. And I've got a condition score down here on the bottom. So now as a supervisor, I have information available to me. I can bring that data back up into the organization, and I can add value to it and make it actionable so that it's complete. One of the other things that we can do is, I'm going to go back to home here and look at this system, is to be able to say, well, how can I leverage this data within an Esri environment? So let's say that I wanted to share this data out to managers or supervisors to show what was happening with my manhole inspection activity. So we've gone ahead and we've configured this to be able to show this data within Esri's operations dashboards, supporting the named users and some of the value that there is within those named user accounts. So here you can see that I have the same project. I have the data here. I have 2,000 manholes, 2,499 manholes. My average score is 78.76. That I click here and look, as far as I have 41 that are poor. I have 29 that are critical. So if I'd like to look at those ones that are in a poor condition, I'm going to show those on the screen, and now you see that those poor conditions show up there on the screen. I can then select those and look at them and say I have an average score of 58.96, and I can look at the basically where those are at, and now I can come up with strategies and tactics to be able to deal with that. All of this, everything I've shown you, is what is available within a CartoPac core deployment. So I've been able to log into a server, have a workflow that's relevant for my assets. We can leverage off of solutions. We can get our own solutions configured. I can go out in the field and have a structured workflow, intelligent forms, be able to collect that data very efficiently. And that shows you some of the improvements that we can see, and really the value we can deliver of how we can improve efficiencies by upwards of 90%. Once that data is collected, it comes back into the organization in a structured way. I can walk through approving that data, seeing that data work through a workflow, making it very actionable, and I can also leverage off of the Esri investment that many of you have and being able to display and show some of the value within those named user applications.
Okay.
So a couple of the options, make sure people understand what happens with CartoPac Core, is that you can leverage off of a pre-configured solution. For example, what you saw that we had for water wastewater. It does have those standards for the high priority assets. You can use those as a template where you can make additions to those, or we can customize it to meet your specific workflows. And our team is very skilled and experienced. I apologize again for the loss of audio. We have construction going on here in our office complex. We had to go ask them to kindly not use the jackhammer outside of our window. We don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but it's very unlikely that we would have lost this audio due to GoToMeeting. But we're going to make the most of it. I'm not sure where we lost, but I'm going to come back here of defining the CartoPac Core solutions. They're pre-configured like what we just demonstrated, that you could leverage off of that pre-configured and have it optimized for your specific workflows. And if by chance that through the pre-configured and the template, we can't meet your data collection requirements, we'll engage, we'll work with your database, we'll work with your team, we'll build out a set of solutions, deploy it in a server, and get you very quickly and effectively out in the field. So we're going to turn this over to Ryan, if he's on there and able to join the audio as well. Ryan, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks, Ben.
Excellent.
So wanted to talk a little bit about the Dell hardware. Definitely, having CartoPac as one of our partners has been very beneficial for our customers. They're best in class at what they do, and I believe Dell is as well. We're the only tier 1 vendor in the industry that actually makes rugged devices. So what that means to our customers is we're able to offer lower priced turnkey solutions with partners like CartoPac by leveraging our buying power across the industry. So we have a complete solution here with integrated GPS and your standard Windows-based systems that are mil-spec certified. And what that means to you is that we have a lot of customers that actually purchase Trimble devices, or there's basically people are carrying more items in their bag than just one system to accomplish what we can accomplish on one tablet. So the tablet has an entire ecosystem around it that allows you to, add a keyboard, mount it to a vehicle, has daylight viewable screens, dedicated GPS, everything built into it. So it allows you to eliminate having multiple items that they're carrying in their bag, and eventually, or in turn, save money. So our tablets, some of the other benefits that we have, not just over having multiple devices, but over our competitors in the rugged industry, are being able to have a very secure, manageable device. that has daylight viewable screens that are also usable with gloves. So being able to use that in any weather, as you can see in the photo there, using it outside with gloves, it still works. Having mobile broadband built in and hot swap batteries are huge benefits as well. But from the support side, something that really differentiates us is we have, as most people know, Dell is very well known for its support, and our Pro Support Plus offering, if you're not familiar with that, Pro Support Plus not only gives you things like keep your hard drive for sensitive data so you don't have to send your hard drive back when one fails, giving you accidental damage coverage, but it gives you something very unique called Support Assist. So Support Assist is a Dell solution that is proactive as opposed to reactive. So there's certain algorithms that run in the background that can tell when your memory or hard drive are about to fail and can actually create a support ticket for you and send those parts out to you before they actually fail. So less downtime as well when you're looking at a Dell system versus our competitor. As far as the Rugged 12 tablet goes, so we've had this device for a few years. I don't know how familiar everyone is with the Dell Rugged story, but we actually used to, until about 8 years ago, we actually used to hand our Latitude devices over to a company called Augmentix and have them ruggedize our devices. About 8 years ago, we ended up purchasing that company, and what that's done for us is allow us to build and innovate on newer, not just better-looking devices, I could say, but devices that that really are what our customers are asking for, and that's where this tablet came from. So our Rugged tablet is mil-spec certified. It's IP65 for water ingress protection. We have a full certification list that probably don't have enough time on this to go down, but IP65 means that no dust is going to get in. You could blast water jets on it. And then the MIL standards for shock resistance, altitude, salt, fog, solar radiation, humidity, vibration, and then we also test ours to fail, right? So the MIL standards are a bare minimum, and we test beyond that. So we don't just say, okay, we're going to see if ours can actually take a 4-foot drop and try to get to that point. We actually build something that's going to go way beyond that point. And Glenn, that's really all I had as far as specs go on the device.
Sure. And I think what it really is that I think there's a great advantage to organizations of having this provided as a complete solution, having really a software application for being able to do your asset inventory and asset management. And now really we believe Dell has provided really the best hardware out there that's going to survive. I guess one good example is that it needed to survive the dashboard of a pickup truck in Wyoming year-round, and a lot of other hardware is not going to make that. The Dell Rugged was the first device that customer said he felt confident in that would just survive his dashboard. So really the partnership here is it's the solution, it's it making that solution configurable, and really partnering with some of the best hardware that's out there in the industry. So I want to talk a little bit about pricing, because in Ryan, if you could, we were talking yesterday getting prepared for this, and just what you're hearing about what customers are asking for in regards to having, low-cost turnkey solutions that are available to use.
Yeah, I think really that kind of rolls back to what I was saying before. So, leveraging our buying power and turning to partners like CartoPac to look for these turnkey solutions. Every day when I walk into customer meetings, one of the #1 things I hear, and I don't think that's going to change, is that people are OpEx challenged or CapEx challenged, right? So there's always a challenge with budget. Partnerships for us and CartoPac alike allow us to offer these turnkey solutions at an affordable price for our customers and really help alleviate one of these main pain points, is the fact that budgets don't seem to be growing at the rate we all wish they would, right? So we have to make do with what we have, and fortunately for companies like CartoPac and Dell, we've been able to come up with a solution that will really work within those tight budget constraints.
Yeah, great, thank you. So in looking at this for CartoPac Core and Core Plus pricing, those are really our two software as a service offerings. And if you look at this for CartoPac Core, it's $49.99 a month. A CartoPac Core Plus is $75 a month. And this for being able to have a GIS ready to use with ArcGIS for Server. You're able to have that real-time display and interaction with your data. You can load your data to the system. You can get it out. You have your data management tools. You have the mobile application that we saw on the Dell Rugged. You've got your workflow manager components for being able to have a structured process of bringing that data back in. You've got the ability to author solutions and leverage off of pre-configured solutions in our professional services. We really believe as far as the value that we can deliver, the performance that we have, this really changes the game for people in the municipal market to have access to this type of feature set, to have access to the data at this type of high-value pricing. The primary difference between CartoPac Core and Core Plus is really within some of the accuracy and sensors that are available on Core Plus, the ability to customize how data comes into the solution, and also how to customize and build your own forms. There's also a difference in the hours. We provide a bucket of hours in every one of these deployments to basically assure that this solution is going to meet or exceed your expectations.
Okay, wonderful. Well, now we are at the question and answer time. And if you do have any questions, please list those above, and we'll go ahead and take the first question. Okay, so let's see, we've got, can users customize the solution for specific needs? Does this require software development?
So in the Core Plus environment is that we provide access to the CartoPac Studio application so that you can be trained by our staff and you can configure solutions in a non-development environment. When you see kind of the number of hours that we allocate for configuration services, our tools are very efficient in getting solutions built, tested, and ready for deployment without any development required.
Okay. Next question that's come in. Can we use this system if we don't have Esri?
So as part of the platform, and I think this is a huge advantage, is that the Esri license for ArcGIS Server to be able to use and interact with this data is already provided within the CartoPac Core. So if you don't have Esri, you're still able to leverage from the benefits, and you still have export options to use that data in other systems that you have on-premise. This also might be just the leverage needed to be able to start looking at adopting and using GIS and starting out with maybe some Esri desktop components, and the data from the hosted environment can be basically brought down into a desktop environment for use on site.
Okay. Next question. Do you provide training or other services?
We have, our team has built, as Teresa said, hundreds of applications. We partner with companies and we will do both training to help them learn to use the tools, so they're not dependent on the vendor to be able to modify, extend, and build new solutions. And we see that that's a pretty common requirement, is that they want to be able to build and deploy their own solutions. So we have training, but we also become an extension of your team. So if you come into kind of an advanced feature or functionality, you can engage with CartoPac, get that expertise that we've built over the years, leverage from that, get a high-value solution, and really just use us as being part of your team.
All right, we have an additional question. Please submit your questions if you do have any. This one Otherwise, this will be the last. How do you bring the data into your own GIS?
So there's a couple of options there. We can export it in the standard GIS formats. We can export it as a shapefile. We can export it out as a geodatabase. We can also connect to the CartoPac core server as a feature service and have the data come into your own GIS that way.
Okay. Oh, and we have one additional question. What is the cost of the Dell Rugged?
Ryan, could you help us out with that one?
Yeah, so I could answer that. So Dell Rugged, it varies. So the nice thing about Dell, like CartoPac, is we can build a solution to fit your needs. So our Dell Rugged devices, they range. They're starting on the website right now about $1,800. Obviously, can go up to about $3,000. It just really depends on what specific performance requirements you're looking for. But beyond that, we also, we have programs such as try and buys. Or if it's something you wanted to try out in your environment, up in Fort Collins, they actually stock it there at CartoPac, some of our devices that you can do a proof of concept on or test it out for a few weeks or a month or whatever you need. So they're very flexible in working with customers on getting that done so you can check out the software and the hardware together.
Excellent. That's a great segue into, we always try to say, well, what are the options? And great, you've heard all this information in a webinar. What are the next steps? You can go to our website. You can sign up for a free evaluation of the software. You can contact Teresa to get that going. And it's an opportunity for us to prove to you how well that our application will meet your needs and package that up with the Dell Rugged hardware so that you can see the value of a total solution.
Wonderful. Well, we want to thank each of you for joining us today. We apologize